So this one here will be Lady Langley and the Quantico Queens, which to me, I think those type of women are some of the hottest women you would ever come across. I've came across a few, and I respect that. I do, and they're a special breed. Let me tell you. But let's start with Lady Langley. I was hauling oversized load, long haul, topsoil screeners across the country with my friend. And when I thought he was a good friend, I thought he was a good guy. I still got love, but no trust. Questions, suspect. Anyway, after we went through a couple states, loaded and maybe unloaded a couple different states. I was like, yeah, we're being followed. I'm being tracked. He's like, you're paranoid, you and your conspiracy theorist stuff. I was like, I'm not a theorist, I'm an analyst. There's a big difference. Anyway, but I was like, no, my phone is humming, like it's hot. Like one of my phones out of like the 3 or 4 I've got laying around is right now it'll almost catch the blanket on fire. That'll make you suspect. Like when you touch it and it's like humming and it's hot, it's got impeding forces. Shit's going on. But so when we were going to Texas and Arizona and Tennessee and maybe Florida, maybe California at the time, I don't know. Anyway, my phone was humming. It was just sitting there, and a couple levels before that, what's going on. Well, at least I do. Ping, 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 ping. But those impedance, is when a speaker, is turned up, the impedance is turned up into a microphone. Most people don't understand impedance, or think of that. But anyway, my phone was humming. I was sitting there cussing it out, and talking shit to the phone. I was like, I know you motherfuckers are listening. So I just sit there and I'll just talk shit all day. But it's came back to me a few times. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah, right then it was one of those times it came back to me. Because I was like, talking into the phone about the surveillance net. Not yet. The cars around us. I was like, you can't have girls with a beautiful face tell me, multiple states, different vehicles. I know the same face. You put her in 10 different vehicles, but I know it's the same girl. You guys gotta stop putting pretty faces tailing me. And like the next day when I was like broke down in like Arizona, well, some point that week, broke down in Arizona, and like the day after I was having that conversation with the phone, a couple of the girls that were on the surveillance team, which was like, you gotta think, counter surveillance, private contractors, all under Halliburton, of course, which I finally got out of them after, a couple hours of me interrogating them. But they wouldn't give me the company that they worked for, but I still knew that they were working for Halliburton. Got that much, which I've gotten out of many of them. But anyway. But a lot of them are loyal to their company that they're subcontracting through Halliburton, but they'll give up Halliburton. Which, to me, is, the most powerful one there is. But, I always wanted Blackwater triple cab Triple Canopy Academy. That's what I was a fan of. But Halliburton probably owns them too. Anyway, so Lady Langley. I told my buddy, I was like, yeah, we're being followed. And then by the time we hit like maybe San Antonio or Austin, maybe it's Austin. The GPSs were not working whatsoever. The phones were just glitching. Just so many different things. We're like, ping, ping, ping. This phone is hot. It just wasn't working. It was just sending you in the wrong direction. But I got a couple stories on them that I've been sitting in the middle of the desert with nobody in miles, just been cussing my phone, and the phone's talking back to me, and it takes me in the middle of the desert, and then the lights turn on, and this fucking squad car in the middle of the fucking desert. Like, wait, who are you back here burying, or what are you trafficking? Like, that was a different one. That was Phoenix, but back to Texas. Ice storm, like 40 car pile up. Like right by Austin that day, like dozens of people died right in front of us, like multiple times, like that day. Well, dozens total, but maybe a dozen at one time. I think 11 plus many not good hospital. But anyway, the fucking vapes, man. Cigarettes are more healthy than vapes. Let me tell you, I'm smoking vapes that people just keep giving me. I throw them away and give them away. They're worse than the cigarettes. Let me tell you, I raised tobacco my whole life. There's many stories about that I'm not trying to get into right now. But anyway, 16, I had my own acre. But Lady Langley, beautiful woman. But you got to think of Texas mountains, ice skating with a 40-foot dual tandem down mountains with a dually, just it was fun. It was art. It was scary, Let me tell you, some butt clenchers, but we skated through accidents like just art. Is art. It's an art of dancing right there. But just long haul trucking. Truckers are artists. Plenty of them. It's an art. It's a business. It's a skill. Trucking's made more millionaires than any other business. Respected trucking since I lived on J.B. Hunt's farm as a kid. But so by the time we had to fuel up on the top of this mountain after just like going through like nightmares all day, we just happy to make it to this place safely. And there's like 4 inches of like ice, sleet, hail, like just little ice balls that were up past my ankles on my Red Wing cowboy boots. And but this woman, which I pointed out multiple of the cars that were part of the surveillance net that were following us, and I was like, yep, that one, and the main one, this woman gets out of the car and she's got high heels on, and she just like rolls all the ice just rolled off of them. It's like just the way she walked through that slush ice, it was so sexy. It was hot. But I got the door before her, which, and I caught how she like put a hitch in her step and hesitated to let me go first to test to see if I was going to get the door and to bait me into the conversation, which she already had lined up before we got to that door, which I didn't know, but I caught on to it real quick right then, and she caught on to me catching on to it, which made the situation even hotter. But, it's like, whatever, there was a Trump border crisis then. Same thing we got going on now. That was 2000, maybe 20, 21. But anyway, it was some bullshit with mainstream media, which I propaganda. I see through it. I see the angles. I know what's going on. But anyway, but she baited me into a conversation, and she knew how I was going to answer it. I caught on to it immediately, like chest, like just real quick. And it was one of the most intriguing, most beautiful conversations. One of the most like replayed couple minutes of my life, I would say, that I've studied since then. I wish I had the camera feed from that gas station, and wish I would have went with her right then and not been so rude when was offered like a dream career. Um, and then I saw later in meditation that I was supposed to go with her, and that if I see her again, I'm supposed to help her, and I do great things with her, and eventually, end up doing well. But the thing was, when she said that I could do a lot of good at Langley, I was like, yeah, but that's, kind of a dangerous place for somebody like me. And that would have been a dream come true, but they're kind of the bad guys. They're letting all the evil go on, and I just don't think that's cool, and they're not they're not the good guys no more, They were always my heroes, and they failed. They failed me, And so I can't take that job right now, and I've regretted it. I've spent hours trying to find a number to try to get a hold of Langley, to try to get a hold of. Say, hey, this woman's got her own department. I don't know how many women have their own department, but she sounds pretty badass. Can you find her for me and tell her that I'm looking for her? Even though I'm sure she already knows, because I'm sure she's one of the like 13 or 15 bolos on my name that. Which some of those are bad guys. Some of the bolos on my name that I know are like super villains. Some of them want me dead. But there's a couple of them that are kind of protecting me, and it would like me to do a lot of good with them, and I could do that. And I know that this here is going to make some people think. Stop and think is one of my phrases. Poetic PowerPoint searchable affirmations. I got hundreds of them. I created me. I've got hundreds of words in the dictionary that I created me. Nobody else can say that. Nobody alive. I know. Try's great. Yeah, Rogue One. I'm your savior, and I know it. But oh yeah, the Quantico Queens. Can't forget them, because that was part of this title too. And like a month or so ago in Frankfort, Kentucky, there was one behind me, and it's like I almost thought it was Lady Langley, and I was like, she was such a beautiful woman, but it's like I'm so just caught up in the rest of the whole interaction. It's like, I can describe lots about her, but so was that her behind me, or was that a Quantico Queen? Because they got that edge. They no makeup, just no nonsense type of chick that you just want to choke slam you and throw you on the ground and jump on your face. But and I looked at this chick behind me in what was it, Big Lots in Frankfort, Kentucky, or maybe Harbor Freight, one of them in that little strip mall a couple months ago. And I saw her, and I knew that she was there watching me. I knew, right a couple spots behind me. I knew. But I just, when I turned around and looked, I was like, whoa, hey, yo, whoa, hey, lady, want to talk? It's like, but you kind of like hesitate, like, what are you here for? Are you here to kill me? Are you here to detain me, to be deleted? Or what's your angle? What's your objective here? It's like, what's your surveillance mission detail? Which I've learned some pretty interesting ones. Let me tell you, because I'm known to counter surveillance and to approach. Well, I try to cultivate better agents, and it's been a couple decade hobby mission. Risk my life and freedom for definitely in many situations to plant seeds of betterment, cultivating better agents, and it's in my files. I'm what I've been called a celebrity when it comes to my file. And multiple police stations, they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You're a celebrity." I'm like, "Wait, what do you know? What do you know about me? What parts? What do you think?" But no, they like, no, I've never seen a file like this. It's pretty extensive here. You want to come over here and look at this? They're like, well, yeah, sure. Let me see what you got going on over here. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Really? It says all that? That's pretty interesting. Here, we can add a couple things over here. But I know that Langley has a field manual where agents are bettered by me. I love it. I respect it. Makes me feel good. You know, I'm trying to make better people. You know, that's what my life's mission is, to save the world and to farmer planting seeds to cultivate minds. And it's all for betterment. Shane Michael, Rogue One. Yeah.